Yeah, I hear you.
First and foremost, can you state your name for me?
I'm Colin.
Colleen?
Yeah.
And where you from, my brother?
I'm from Brooklyn, Flatbush.
Flatbush, Brooklyn? Okay. And currently, tell the people where you are right now, where you currently are.
Oh, well, I'm in Southport Correctional Facility right now in the box.
Okay. And without saying too much, your current familial family affiliation would be with brothers that align themselves with Dominicans, correct?
Yeah, the Dominicans, yeah.
Okay. This interview, personally, it was requested because a lot of information has been floating around the internet, a lot of back and forth about the history of the Dominican uprising within, I guess, the prison gang culture, the street gang culture, particularly surrounding Caballo. And briefly, to talk a little bit about Caballo, tell me a little bit about if you know Caballo personally, or if you heard of him, or have you been around him?
Yeah, I've been personally with him. I know him personally.
All right, what kind of brother was Caballo? Tell me a little bit about him.
Good brother. My eyes, good brother for my spirit, me personally with him. Always giving to others, never think for himself. For me, I think everything he's trying to do, it was for his people, for the best, for the better of his people. That's the way I used to feel.
So tell me why he even decided to separate the identity from other Spanish gangs like Kings and the Nietas. Why did he decide to do his own Dominican thing?
I mean, it's come from it's not that he's trying to do that. That was already created back in my country.
Okay, so it comes from your country. Okay.
It come from my country from the 1880s. It come from there. That's the way we got our independence back.
Oh, that's what the name Trinitario or Trinitario means. What?
Yeah, it used to call it Trinitarios. A group started and called it Trinitaria by Juan Pablo Duarte. So it comes from back in our history.
Okay, so he just took on something that was already in place in your native country of Dominican Republic, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So why did he do that? Why did he decide to do that? Was it issues between the blacks, the Lion Kings, the Nietas, or why did he decide to separate?
I mean, again, it was more against Lion Kings and Nietas. At that moment in jail, Dominican was really small. Right. They didn't really have no phone nowhere. They didn't really have no table, no place to be. So he really did it more for his people. So when the people come through, they be able to be a little bit comfortable in jail and have their own stuff. And it was not really about nobody else really doing the reason why he made it. It was more about what he wanted for his people. It was really not about somebody else or going against anybody else. It was just more for his people, for the future of his people.
Okay, so it didn't start because Dominicans were getting, how the Bloods and the Lion Kings have this history where they say the blacks were getting bullied, and they say the Puerto Ricans were getting bullied. Was that the same for the Dominicans? Yeah, I felt because y'all were getting oppressed?
I mean, we were going through things, but that wasn't the main reason. Like I said, the main reason was to establish something that our people can be there.
Okay, all right, that's good. That's good to hear, to break that myth in the sense where y'all wasn't getting oppressed. Because at one point it looked like every Spanish person was just Lion King and Nieta at one point.
Yeah, not really. We don't really go, we don't really got a main family or whatever. Like, it's just more about us trying to make the best for our people. People got a misconception in the street about us and think we're a gang and things like that, but not in jail. In jail, we're not no gang and things like that. We're a family. We stick together, look out for one another. and make sure everybody eat. If one eat, we all gotta eat.
And I like that.
So I know the young kid nowadays sees it different, but it's not about going against Black or going against Blanquin or going against Puerto Rican. It's about us together, stay together, Black and everybody, and stay together.
That's good. So, a little bit about Caballo before we go on to your history. Everybody says Caballo was a strong brother. You even had some people say that he didn't technically go to war when it was time for y'all to go to war. How you feel about that?
I mean, from my understanding, he went to war when it was time. That's the reason why he got his name.
Right. All right. That's one of the misconceptions. I mean, everybody utilizes drugs. Was he an avid drug user? I mean, if you want to talk about that, I don't really want to push that on you, but that's one of the things they're pushing about that brother, that he was an avid drug user, that he used a lot of drugs.
I don't know if he was avid. He used a lot of drugs. From my understanding, he did. I don't know how much and how heavy he used to do it.
All right, that's all good. I mean, sometimes a truth is a truth, so it ain't like you putting a bad name on him, because a lot of brothers from that era use drugs. It happens, so we don't even want to use it as like, that's a downplay. It happens. So with that said, we don't even need to dwell on that aspect anymore. Now, currently, you are in the box. What is I wouldn't say your position, but you kind of have certain influence over the brothers at this time, right?
Yes.
Okay. And with your influence, is there anything that, like, in relation to, let's say, the Blacks and the Bloods, how is that relationship right now?
I mean, that's the reason why you can say the influence I got in my people. My people listen to me when I gotta say something, because they know whenever I say something, it's gonna be real. Besides, I'm a humble guy. I've been in jail since I was 16. I'm about to be 35 years old now, and I'm humble. I know a lot of people, and I'm easy to talk with anybody. So that, if you can say that make you influence, then
I'm listening, my brother.
Yeah, then that's what it is,
I understand. See, I just wanted to get this brief interview, this brief first part of it, just to, dispel any, misconceptions that I got. You do acknowledge Caballo. You are one of the individuals that has the influence over, the Trinitarios, the Free Wolves, whichever, young brothers like to call themselves. And I just wanted to get that question out of you, how your relationship is with the Blacks, a little bit about Caballo, and just moving forward as, what is it that you see, first actually, how do you feel about the Junior situation? And that was a big thing.
About Junior?
Yeah, tell me how you feel about that. I mean, how you felt about that. In the Junior situations with the kid in the Bronx that was assaulted and killed by alleged
Junior, I don't really know too much. I was in the box at that time when the situation happened.
Right.
So I only really know what people tell me.
Right.
I cannot really opinion on that, because it's a lot of different sides. So I don't really know the true story. I just know he was a young kid. It's bad that happened to him. Being that young. So, but besides, I cannot really make no comment, because I don't really know if he was part of the street or not. Some people say he was part of the street. Some people say he wasn't. So that's where I'm at with that situation. If I don't really know, it ain't really for me to say too much about it.
And that's respectable. And the reason I asked is that's when you guys started to get publicized in a monstrous kind of way. And
yeah,
that was the stigma that followed and will follow behind that. Everybody doesn't feel that way. Everybody is not that way. So I just wanted to give you the chance to at least cite that that's not everybody's opinion. I take it, right? Everybody doesn't practice that way.
Yeah, and we don't do that, especially against kids that young. like I said, it's a different world out there and here.
Right. And that's good. That's good that you acknowledge that, man, because this is the first part, so I'm not going to go and take up too much of your time because I have a lot more questions for you in the future. But before we end this, I'd like to ask two questions about, you know, what neighborhood you grew up in. You said Flatbush, and a lot of Dominicans are not in Flatbush. I just want to know how that happened.
Well, I'm originally from when I came to this country from Dominican, I went to Washington Heights. And but my mother had owned some business in Brooklyn, so we had moved to Brooklyn. That's how I ended up in Flatbush from Church Ave.
Okay, so you got
there was a lot of fun
over there.
Yeah, I know a lot of Crips, and yeah, that's the only thing that was around my neighborhood. Only Crips on my time.
Right. So you know a lot of them. Were you what you were now, or you turned out in jail later?
Nah, that was more in jail. It was none of that around my neighborhood.
No, I'm saying, when did you start? Did you identify with Crips at one point, or you just was always? You know,
no, never. Just did.
Okay, and this is something you started while you were in jail.
Yeah.
Okay. Next session, we're going to get a little bit more about your family history, how you got involved in that. I just want to get a little intro type interview related to this, and I got a good brother, my man Florida. He has his name is Florida Prison Talk. He has a lot of individuals from, you know, the faction that you belong to on his channel, and a lot of them have different, you know, stories about Caballo, different things, how he got killed. Before we end, can you tell me the real version of what happened to him? You know what I mean?
Caballo?
Yeah, because I heard like he got killed by the inmates and all types of stuff, man. I really don't know the real story that happened to the brother.
I mean, no, I don't think. From my understanding, he got killed by the police.
The correction officer killed him?
Yeah, the correction officer killed him. Yeah, that's from my understanding. Yeah,
because
a lot of people was fighting in jail. He had asthma. A lot of people was fighting in jail. He had asthma. He caught an asthma attack, and they started beating him up with a stick. And that's how he died, from my understanding.
So it wasn't no major hit or nothing like that. It was just a riot, and he just...
No, not that I know.
Okay, that's dispelled enough. So on the next segment, I appreciate you, brother, wholeheartedly, man. So I got you on the next one with us. I want to know a little bit about you, your family, you know, because I be in Santiago out there all the time, so I love DR myself. So I want to...
All right. Listen, it's 1 minute. You were about to hang up in a second, too.
Yeah, so I'm about to end. Like I said, I'll catch you on the next one and get a little bit more of your family history, all right? I'm going to put this out there and send the link. I'm going to send the link to your wife. And salute to everybody. You want to shout everybody out real quick?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to all my people, my family. You know, I love all of you.